Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Edina, and in today's video I want to give you a little bit of travel inspiration for 2022. Right now I'm going to show you all the countries that I have visited so far in my whole life. So in this case I hope this gives you a little bit of ideas that where to go, which kind of places to explore, and it's going to be a little bit of fun story time. And in this process I'm going to have a great helper for today. What is going to be this great scratch map. I'm just so excited to use finally this scratch map because anyway, I think it's so much fun to scratch stuff, you know, like on the scratching lottery and things like this. And also I just moved in not too long ago into my first ever apartment, and as you can see behind me the walls are still pretty empty, so this is going to be the first picture what I'm going to hang out. So let's get started and let's check out that where to go this year. Okay, so let's open this bad boy. Let's check it out. What is inside? Hello map! Oh, here you are. Ooh, this is gonna be big. Let's do this. Okay, so here we are. I just needed to put some weight to the corners because it's always wanted to roll back inside, and one of them is going to be this big bag. So I have traveled to 27 countries on 5 continents so far. This is my number, but I'm hoping that this year I can increase this and I will have the chance to visit new places. Maybe some people will say that, oh, it's so cool, this is such a lot, but maybe some of you will say that, okay, I have already been in much more places. This is how I'm right now, and I think that on this map I will go from left to the right, so in this case we can go by continent to continent to check that what I have visited, and I will attach a little bit of stories to everywhere. Okay, so let's start this journey in here in America. Okay, so on the American continent, basically I have only been in the United States and also inside the US, just a few places I had the chance to visit. I think this country is huge and they are full of with so many travel opportunities, and I really wish to go to South America and Canada in the future. But right now let me show you those places that I have visited. So right now we are just going to start with one of my favorite places on the whole globe, what is New York City. I love this place. I think you will never regret if you visit in New York. I've been already there like 5 or 6 times, and I'm still sure that I'm going to return. There are so many things to check out. This place is always renewing. There are always new buildings, always new restaurants, always I don't know, some kind of new artists. So it's very multicultural, and I love everything what is going in that city. You just have to go out for a walk and you will always find something new. Sometimes I just find a concert in a park, or in other place I find an open-air theater. And you can go out to kayaking for free on the Hudson River. So I think it's just so amazing. And if you're interested about New York, I really suggest you to check out the Brad Conti's channel, who is living there and give you some insight about New York. Another state that I have visited in the US, it was Florida, but especially Miami and its surroundings. Miami Beach is amazing. There is a very long sandy beach. The water is so warm, it's clear, it's even so much fun just snorkeling on the shore. I find so many big and beautiful shells. I really loved it. And I also been to the Everglades, checking out the alligators. I think this park is so much fun, so I recommend you to go there. And also drove down to Key West, what is a very scenic drive. I highly recommend you to do it because you're just going through on these small islands until the last one, always next to the ocean. It's really amazing. And basically Key West is the closest point to Cuba. It's very interesting, and you can go out to check out the dolphins, and you really get into a tropical paradise. So I really loved it, but only had 1 week for this whole trip. So if you deciding to go to Miami and checking out the area around, I suggest you to take 2 or 3 weeks for this because there are really so many stuff to see. So basically these were the most important parts that I have visited in the US so far. I also spent a little bit of time in New Jersey and in Connecticut, but that was really short time, so I don't have, huge experiences about it. But fingers crossed that maybe this year I can return to the United States and I can visit some new places. And right now let's jump into Europe. As you already know, I'm from Hungary, which is basically in Central Europe, so I think this is a natural reason why you will see the most scratch spots in Europe. This is the continent that I have visited so far the most, but basically I still didn't see so many countries also in here, and there are so many places that I want to visit. On my top of the list is Iceland, and I really wish to go to France also. I never been to Paris or to Normandy or to these kind of places, and really wish to check out the Scandinavian countries. But let's see that what I have seen so far. Okay, so from Spain, basically I've only visited the Canary Islands and especially Lanzarote, and I really love this small island. It has a very unique vibe because it's a volcanic island, so you can everywhere find black sand because of the ashes. It's really, really interesting, and I think it's a perfect 1 week getaway. You will always have some things to watch in every day, but it's not going to be overwhelming, so I highly recommend you to check out Lanzarote. Alright, so the next country is the United Kingdom, but in here I also especially only visited London and its surroundings. I think London is a great city. For me, is not that vibrant as New York. It's a little bit more calmer, but there are so many cultural things to see. I think there are great museums. Also, I really like the architectural buildings outside, and I really wish to return to the UK and want to visit Scotland and also the countryside. But we also checked out the Stonehenge, which was a great experience. So yeah, there are so many great spots in the UK. Let's travel there. So the next is going to be 2 small countries next to each other, Belgium and the Netherlands. In Belgium, the highlight was for me Bruges. I really loved it, like a small fairy tale city with carriages and amazing architecture. I think you have to visit this place, and of course eating a lot of waffles, chocolates and fries because all of them are great. And beers, if you love beer. I'm not a beer type of person. And the Netherlands. Amsterdam is a must, really, like the canals and the small gingerbread houses next to it. It's totally a vibe. So just walking on the streets, even if you don't do anything else, it's a must. So yeah, let's go to the Netherlands. And especially if you're going in springtime, you can go out to the tulip fields, and the countryside is just so green and lush, and they are full of animals in everywhere. So I really like that country. Okay, so right now let's move to Germany. I think this is a country where I didn't spend enough time yet, so I will definitely have to return because there are beautiful castles, there are great landscapes with huge mountains, and there are few great cities like Munich, Hamburg or Berlin. So I think Germany is a must to visit, but it's kind of big, so maybe it's good to check out from region to region, and in this case you can explore it better. So the next is going to be Italy, but it's also consisting Vatican and San Marino, and these 2 places are basically separate countries inside Italy, so it's very interesting. In Italy I have already visited more places like Venice, Milan and other smaller places on the northern area, and also last summer I had the chance to go to Rome. I also created a video about it, so let's check it out. I've linked it to you. And I think everyone knows that in Italy, the food is great, fashion is great, there are so many history, culture, amazing beaches, so it can offer a lot. Let's go to Italy, I don't have to tell more. The next is going to be Malta, which is a tiny country below Italy, and it has a mix of British, Italian, and the Mediterranean culture. So I think it's interesting. There are so many history in here, and the Blue Lagoon and the water is just truly a must to check. I also have a video about it, so I recommend you to watch it in here in YouTube. And Maltese have a special place in my heart because when I was 17, it was the first time when I traveled alone, and I spent in here 1 month on an English course, which was very useful, and I get the most done in my whole life. So if you just want to get chocolate brown, go to Malta for a month and you will get the result. So yeah, I think it's worth to visit this small country. Okay, so right now let's talk about a bunch of smaller countries which are located next to each other, and I'm going to tell a few words about them. Maybe let's start with Croatia, what is basically the most important holiday getaway from here, from Hungary, because this is the closest point for us to get to the sea. The water is beautiful, crystal clear, kind of in everywhere what I've seen so far, but it's pretty chilly. The weather is really nice. There are so many historical places, and the first season of Game of Thrones was also shooted in Dubrovnik in Croatia, so it's a great place to check. And next to it there is Austria, what is basically famous about the Alps, about the mountains. There are great hikes, and you can maybe also go to rafting. It's very beautiful. And now let's turn more to the Central and Eastern European part. What I think it's very underrated. Not too many people is traveling to these countries, but I think this must be changed because there are so many small treasures and unique places. Of course also in Hungary, where I'm living, and you can find so many videos about it here on the channel, but also in Slovakia, Romania and Bulgaria, what I have visited. And also I've been in few other countries, but just traveled through and went to other places, so I'm not counting them as I really traveled there. Yeah, I would like to highlight the Transylvanian area in Romania, which is more like a traditional part. There are also so many mountains, and there are so many hikes what you can do. And I also have a video about Bucharest, capital of Romania, but it was a very great surprise for me, so I suggest you to check it. And in Bulgaria I have been mostly to the Black Sea side. There are great holiday spots over there, but also good mountains for trips and for skiing during winter time. So yeah, I think there are so many places in these areas, but the travel books are not mentioning, and also most of the people is not visiting these places. I know that Italy and France and Spain and these countries are much more popular, but I recommend you to start to explore also this area, because you will find so many beauty in here, and I think it's worth to give a chance for them. And now let's go to Greece. What I think it's also a very popular holiday spot. This was the first country what I have ever visited when I was 3 years old, and we came to a summer holiday with my family, but after we also visited several times Greece. History is one of the reasons why it's worth to come, because there are so many ancient areas with interesting stories behind. Also the food is great, and I just have to mention the islands like Corfu, Santorini, Mykonos and so much other. So yeah, Greece can offer a lot, not just the beaches, but also from cultural side. So I really like it. Okay, so we have finished with Europe, and right now we can move to Africa, and it's going to be a very quick one because there is only one country that I have visited in Africa so far, what is Tunisia. The first time ever when I was sitting on a plane, it was the trip to Tunisia. I was, I think, 12 or 13 years old, and we went together with my family, and this was our first big plane-related family holiday together, and we were so excited and went out to the airport and looked around the duty-free area. And once we just heard the announcement that we are kind of the only ones who are still missing from the plane, so we just started running to our gate to board. So it started on an exciting and adventurous way. Otherwise, Tunisia was great. The weather and the beaches was really, really nice, and it's already very close to the Sahara Desert. And we went out there for a trip. It was truly amazing, and to the Atlas Mountains. So I'm hoping that Tunisia is going to get back on the track, and more people is going to visit this country. And right now, let's move to Asia. Okay, so in Asia I have been to Qatar, but I think this place is still under progress. I can't suggest you yet to visit this country, but I think in a few years it's going to be great because they are really working on it. It didn't catch me yet, that's okay. So the next is going to be Thailand. I think this is a great country to visit for the first time if you have never been to Asia, because the tourism is pretty big. They already get used to it and they already well prepared for that. We have visited more areas, and I really like the northern part. We have been to Chiang Mai and more above. I think that's a more traditional and more calm area of Thailand. I think this is kind of the real Thailand area, but this is just my opinion. We have been also to Bangkok. I really like that city. It's very vibrant. So many things are happening around. I like that there's so many cultural spots. And we also have been to the beach area, of course. We went to Krabi. That was very pretty, but for me the highlight was when we went out for trips, like to the Phi Islands and to James Bond Island and to many other islands you can go around. So yeah, Thailand is great. And now let's move a little bit away to Japan. I think Japan and its people is just so much more different than any other country in the world. Japan people are so reverent and they are very respectful and keeping the rules and their heritages, and I think it's just so beautiful. But in the same time they are going with the modern things and with the electronics and technology, and they are really interesting and maybe sometimes a little bit even crazy. We have been to Tokyo and its surroundings. And my boyfriend is really into Japan, so probably we will still go back in the future. I think you will really enjoy it. Let's get ready that after a few days you will see so many temples and pagodas which are just beautiful, but you will see so much that you will need also other activities to do. But there are so many culture, history and natural beauties that you will find always something to do in Japan. So our final destination for today is Australia. In Australia I have visited 2 states. One of them was New South Wales and next to Queensland. I had more chance to visit Sydney and its surroundings, but I also been to Canberra, which is the capital of Australia, and I didn't expect that city is so good, so let's keep time for this area. And in Queensland we have been to Brisbane and the Gold Coast side, and I really regret that I didn't get the chance to get to the Great Barrier Reef, but next time. And for me, Australia is the country which wasn't on the top of my bucket list, but right now that I have already visited, I definitely want to return. This is the country what can give you everything. There is jungle, there is beach, there is mountain, forest, desert. Basically you can find everything in Australia, and we just don't have to forget that over there the regular bird is the parrot. Regular birds are parrots, not like in here in Hungary. We have pigeons, grey pigeons in everywhere, but over there colorful parrots. I really love that. So I think Australia is an ultimate country to visit. I will definitely go back, but the distances are just so far in here from city to city or from side to side that I will need, I think, months to explore what I really want to see. So I hope once I will have the chance to return for a longer period. Okay, so here is how the map looks right now. United States not even shows that much because it's with yellow, so we can't see it. But yeah, I have more greens in here in Europe and also a few spots in here around. So here is the time when you think that you have already traveled to so many places, but after you visualize it on this scratch map and it's coming out that it's not as colorful as I wish it to be. The world is just so big and I just see a tiny part of it yet, so it's time to get back on the board and fly to so many places. I'm hoping that this year we'll already have more chance than in the last previous 2 crazy years that we had already behind. And also this is the time when I kind of regret that I just didn't start this YouTube channel so much more earlier, because as you can see I could already show you much more places, but I'm hoping that maybe this year we're going to change this. And yeah, let's get into the comment section and tell me that which was your favorite country to visit so far. Tell me your best experiences, or tell me your number, that how many countries you have visited so far. And we are going to explore new places next week in the next video. See you guys!